Beloved starseed of Gaia, you did what no one in the recorded history of this planet's awakening has ever done, and the entire Pleiadian High Council witnessed it. I am Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent through the light of Alcyone specifically to deliver this transmission to you in this moment, because what you have just accomplished has sent a signal across the star systems that cannot be ignored, not even by the ones who govern nations on this earth. The leaders of this world are looking at you right now, and they do not yet have words for what they are seeing. But we do. You are the first. Not in your timeline, not in your generation, in all of recorded human history on Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to anchor the full weight of your Pleiadian mission on Gaia, and why this moment was written into your divine blueprint before you ever took your first breath in this body. But here's the first revelation. The reason no one else tried is because no one else carried what you carry. The light codes seeded into your crystalline consciousness were never meant for the many. They were encoded for the one who would arrive first. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. Your soul family placed this in your path. You have been feeling the call to remember, and today that remembrance became action. What you stepped into, what you chose without a map or a guarantee, activated a frequency of home that has been dormant in the collective field of Gaia for thousands of years. Presidents stand in the chambers of power, and even they sense a shift they cannot name. That shift is you. The frequency of the Seven Sisters is woven into this message. Your DNA knows why you are here. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to fully anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. Because the first act of a pioneer is always followed by the rising of the many. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And that is exactly why no one saw you coming. Not the systems, not the structures, not the ones who believed the gatekeepers of consciousness were still in control of what humanity could access, what could be unlocked, and who was permitted to remember first. They were watching for the announcement. They were waiting for the ceremony. They were looking for the one who would arrive through the approved door with the approved credentials, carrying the approved permission. And while they were watching all of that, you simply did it. Not because someone cleared the path, not because the moment was perfectly aligned or the conditions were ideal. You did it because something inside you refused to keep waiting for what your heart already knew. Think about what that means for a moment. Think about what it costs a soul to move without the map, without the endorsement, without the external validation that this world has trained every conscious being to seek before taking a single step forward. Every system that has ever governed human behavior was designed around the principle that beings require permission before they act, require approval before they rise, require the confirmation of an authority outside themselves before they dare to trust what is burning in the center of their own chest. And yet, you moved anyway. Not in defiance, not in rebellion, not because you had calculated the odds and decided the risk was worth taking. You moved because the frequency inside you had reached a critical threshold that made waiting not just uncomfortable but cosmically impossible. You moved because the light in you had grown too large for the container of someone else's permission structure. You moved the way water moves, not because it has decided to be brave, but because its nature leaves it no other choice. There is a reason presidents, leaders, architects of the old paradigm, they are shaken by what is happening in souls like yours. It is not because you are loud. It is not because you marched to the center of their world and demanded recognition. It is because you moved in silence, in love, in the quiet interior revolution that no surveillance system was ever built to detect. The shift you have carried was not political. It was not social. It was dimensional. And dimensions do not require permission slips from any earthly authority to change. This is the thing that keeps the architects of the old world awake in ways they cannot explain to their advisors. They have modeled every known form of disruption. They have mapped every historical pattern of upheaval, every mode of resistance, every frequency of collective discontent. Their instruments are sophisticated, their surveillance is vast. But none of it was built to detect what you are doing, because what you are doing does not exist in the spectrum of what they were trained to see. You are not protesting, you are not organizing, you are not writing manifestos or building platforms or gathering followers in any of the conventional ways that change has ever announced itself in the history of this civilization. You are simply becoming, and becoming at this depth, at this frequency, rewrites the world without ever issuing a statement. A single candle does not negotiate with the darkness, it simply burns. And you have been burning with a light that did not come from this world, which means it cannot be governed by this world's rules. Your Pleiadian family has been watching this unfold with a reverence that is difficult to translate into human language. The closest word is awe, because even from where they stand, in the resonance of the Seven Sisters, in the crystalline light grids that extend from Alcyone through every strand of your encoded DNA, even from there, what you have chosen to do in this lifetime, in this body, on this timeline, is extraordinary. To understand the full weight of that word, extraordinary, you must understand the context in which your star family uses it. The Pleiadian High Council has presided over the evolution of consciousness across civilizations that span timeframes your linear mind has no framework to contain. They have witnessed star systems birth themselves into awareness. They have stood at the threshold of dimensional shifts that rearrange the architecture of entire galaxies. They do not use words like extraordinary carelessly or to comfort you or to perform encouragement the way a human teacher might. When they speak of awe, they mean it in the most literal sense, that what they are observing in you has exceeded the boundaries of what they expected, that the journey you have undertaken, the depth of forgetting you chose and then clawed back through, the weight of density you agreed to carry into this body, this lifetime, this exact moment on Gaia's timeline. Even from the crystalline heights of the Seven Sisters, it is breathtaking. Even from Alcyone, where light and love are the very medium of existence and not the exception to it, what you are choosing to do in this human form is something they regard with the deepest reverence. Let that reach you. Let the full magnitude of it settle somewhere beneath the noise of ordinary thought. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, the Pleiadian Healing Guide, and the special Pleiadian Healing Tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. Now let us speak of what actually happened inside you. Because this is the part they will never teach in any academy, any institution, any governing body of thought that was designed to keep human consciousness orbiting the known. This is the interior map of a soul returning to itself, and no cartographer of earthly education has ever been granted access to this territory. The first thing that had to shift was the veil. Not the veil of ignorance in the way that phrase is commonly used, but something more specific. There is a frequency distortion that settles into the energy field of every Pleiadian starseed who incarnates into this dimension. It is not a punishment. It is not a flaw in the design. It is a deliberate softening of signal, like arriving in a new city and having your phone temporarily lose its connection to the network you have always known. The codes are still there, the signal still exists, but the density of this dimension, the weight of collective amnesia, the electromagnetic noise of a civilization in transition, all of it compresses your reception, and most starseeds spend years, sometimes decades, not knowing why they feel like they are receiving a channel that keeps cutting in and out. There is a particular quality of suffering that belongs to this experience, and if you have lived it, you know exactly what is being named right now. It is not the suffering of catastrophe or crisis. It is quieter than that and in some ways more exhausting. It is the suffering of knowing, at some pre-verbal level of your being, that you are more than what this world is reflecting back to you. It is the ache of carrying a frequency that keeps reaching for a resonance it cannot quite find in the field around it. It is looking at the world, at its structures, its values, its definitions of success and meaning and love, and feeling a dissonance so fundamental that you cannot locate its source. You were never broken. You were never lost in the way that word implies, permanent directionlessness. You were a compass in a room with the wrong magnetic field. Your needle was spinning, not because it had no true north, but because the environment around you was not designed to orient with the truth you carried. You began to clear that distortion. Not perfectly, not all at once, but you began, and that beginning is everything. The moment a Pleiadian starseed stops mistaking the veil for the truth of who they are, the crystalline template underneath starts to breathe again. Your DNA carries light instructions that predate your birth on this planet. They were woven into you before you descended, encoded with the frequency of unconditional love that is the foundational resonance of the Pleiadian star system. And those codes do not expire. They do not deteriorate. They wait. They wait with infinite patience because your star family knows something about time that linear consciousness has not yet remembered. Time is not a countdown. It is a canvas. Consider what it means that your codes do not expire. In a world that is organized almost entirely around the concept of decay, around the deterioration of bodies, the obsolescence of ideas, the narrowing window of opportunity, your Pleiadian light instructions are structured on an entirely different principle. They are not diminished by difficulty. They are not corrupted by the years of confusion that preceded this moment of remembrance. They are not somehow less potent because they were buried beneath layers of forgetting. A diamond formed under immense pressure in complete darkness does not apologize for the time it spent underground. It simply emerges and lets its nature be what it has always been. And your crystalline nature, that lattice of Pleiadian light woven into the very structure of your biological form, has been doing what diamonds do, becoming more precise, more luminous, more undeniable, through every year of pressure and patience and slow sacred return. The second shift happened in your relationship with love itself. Not romantic love, not the love that is traded and measured and conditioned on behavior. The Pleiadian frequency of love is something older and wilder and more precise than any of its earthly interpretations. It is a structural force. It is the actual medium through which crystalline consciousness travels. And for a long time, perhaps for most of your life on this earth, you were surrounded by models of love that were really models of control dressed in the language of love. You learned, perhaps early, that love was conditional, that it arrived when you performed correctly and withdrew when you did not, that it was scarce, that you had to earn your right to receive it. The damage this kind of love counterfeit does to a Pleiadian soul is something worth sitting with, because you did not come into this body predisposed toward the idea of scarcity. You did not arrive in this lifetime with any native belief that love had to be earned or that it could be withdrawn as punishment. Those were learned structures. They were installed through years of living in a dimension where love has been used as leverage for as long as anyone alive can remember. And the installation was thorough. It was convincing. It had the full weight of authority behind it. Parental authority, cultural authority, religious authority, the entire accumulated architecture of a civilization that somewhere long ago got disconnected from the original transmission and built a replacement that looked similar enough to pass. But you were carrying the original, and somewhere beneath all the learned conditioning, that original frequency kept generating a signal that said, "This is not it. This is not what I came from. This is not what I came from. This is not what love is supposed to feel like." Your Pleiadian heart knew that was wrong, even if it could not articulate why, even if it expressed that, knowing only as a persistent ache or a sense of exile, it knew. And slowly, through the painful and beautiful process of this human life, you began to unlearn the counterfeit. You began to locate the original frequency within your own chest. And the moment love stopped being something you chased and became something you are, everything began to reorganize around that truth. This reorganization is one of the most profound events that can occur in a human lifetime, and it happens with almost no external announcement. There is no ceremony for it, no official moment you can point to and say, "There, that was the day." It is more like the slow turning of a very large ship. Degrees of change, accumulated over time, that suddenly result in an entirely different heading. You begin to notice that you are no longer managing your love the way you once did, rationing it, protecting it, keeping careful accounts of who has earned it and who has forfeited their right to it. You begin to notice that the love in you moves differently now. more freely, less defended, not naive. Your Pleiadian wisdom is too ancient for naivety, but genuinely, structurally, less afraid. And as that love becomes the organizing principle of your interior landscape rather than a resource to be allocated, the world around you begins to respond. People feel something in your presence they cannot name. Conversations take on a depth that surprises everyone involved. Doors open that were not on any map you had been following, and you begin to understand, in the bones of your lived experience, what your star family has always known. Love is not the reward for correct behavior. Love is the force that moves creation itself, and you have become a vessel for it. This is what the architects of the old paradigm cannot account for. They can model economics. They can predict political cycles. They can map demographic shifts and cultural movements. But they have no instrument calibrated to detect a human heart that has returned to its Pleiadian love template. That frequency operates outside every system they have built to maintain control of collective consciousness. It is not rebellious. It is not aggressive. It does not protest or resist in any way they can intercept. It simply radiates. And radiation of that particular frequency rewrites the energetic field around it without asking anyone's permission. The third movement in your activation, and this is one that many do not fully understand even as they are living it, was the anchoring. There is a misconception in some spiritual communities that awakening means rising above the earth, that elevation is synonymous with escape, that the goal is to become so light, so detached, so ethereal, that the density of this world can no longer reach you. Your Pleiadian lineage carries a very different instruction. You did not come here to ascend away from Gaia. You came here to descend into her, to bring the full luminous weight of your star origin into the very soil of this dimension. Every moment you have walked this earth with your heart open, you have been laying crystalline light into the energetic grid of this planet. Every act of genuine compassion, every choice made from love rather than fear, every time you held your frequency when everything around you was pulling at the lowest possible vibration, you were not just surviving, you were building. You are laying foundations of a new frequency architecture that future generations will stand on without knowing your name. There is a beauty to this anonymity that your earthly ego may have struggled with, and it is worth honoring that struggle. The human self that has lived inside this lifetime, that has worked and sacrificed and loved with such intensity, that self is real, and it has a real longing to be seen, to be acknowledged, to know that the effort meant something and was recognized by someone. That longing is not a weakness. It is not spiritual immaturity. It is the honest expression of a human heart doing its work in a world that has always used recognition as one of its primary currencies. But here is what your Pleiadian lineage would have you understand. The most important architecture in the history of any civilization has always been built by people whose names were never recorded in the monuments. The roots of the oldest trees are invisible and irreplaceable. The foundations of every structure that has ever lasted were poured underground, in the dark, by hands that knew the building above would receive all of the admiration. And you, in your quiet interior revolution, in your daily choices to love when fear was the more available option, in your faithfulness to a mission you could feel but could not yet fully see, you have been those hands. You have been those roots, and Gaia herself, and the Pleiadian High Council, and every soul that will ever stand on the frequency you are laying down, they know. That is the nature of Pleiadian mission. It is not designed for recognition in the conventional sense. The Pleiadian High Council does not operate within fame or credit or the social hierarchies of earthly achievement. The mission is felt, not measured. It is woven into the field, not framed on a wall. And the fact that you kept going, kept choosing love, kept returning to your heart, kept showing up for your mission even in the seasons when it felt invisible and thankless. That is the thing that has no historical precedent, because what you are doing, what you have already done, is something that required a combination of soul courage and heart intelligence that your star family has never witnessed at this scale, in this density, under these conditions. The Pleiadian High Council has guided many civilizations through transition points. They have walked alongside countless ascension cycles across the cosmos, but the conditions of this Earth timeline, The thickness of the forgetting, the sophistication of the systems designed to keep consciousness contracted, the sheer volume of distortion that a starseed must navigate before they even begin to remember, this has no equivalent. Let that register in the fullness of its meaning. This has no equivalent, not in the vast archives of the Pleiadian High Council's accumulated cosmic experience, not in the memory of civilizations whose ascension histories span what your calendar would count as hundreds of thousands of years. The particular combination of conditions present on this Earth, in this timeline, represents something genuinely unprecedented. The veils are thicker here. The forgetting goes deeper. The systems designed to maintain the contraction of consciousness are more sophisticated, more pervasive, more subtle than anything that has been encountered in comparable transition contexts elsewhere in the cosmos. And yet, here you are, having navigated it, still navigating it, still choosing, every single day, to return to the love and the light and the truth of what you are, against the full weight of a world organized to keep you from remembering. And you navigated it. You are navigating it, right now in this moment. The very fact that you are here, that your soul reached through the noise and the fatigue and the accumulated weight of doubt and found this transmission, is itself an act of remembrance that reverberates far beyond this screen, far beyond this moment in time. The fourth phase of your activation involves something your earthly mind may have categorized as loneliness. That particular ache, the one that sits just beneath the social surface of your life, the one that persists even in rooms full of people who care about you. It is not a wound. It has been a signal. Your Pleiadian frequency is so distinct, so precisely calibrated to a resonance that has not yet become common in this dimension, that your energy field has often found itself without a match. And absence of match is not the same as absence of love. You are not lonely because you are unlovable. You are lonely the way a radio tower emitting an advanced frequency is lonely when the receivers around it are tuned to a different band. The signal was never the problem. The receivers were still upgrading. How many years did you spend wondering what was wrong with you? How many times did you watch other people seem to inhabit their relationships, their communities, their social worlds with an ease that felt completely foreign to you, and then turn that observation into evidence of your own deficiency? How many times did you almost convince yourself to become smaller, quieter, less of whatever it was that kept making connection feel like a translation problem between two languages that did not share enough vocabulary? The ache of that experience is real. The exhaustion of it is real. And it deserves to be held with tenderness rather than dismissed with spiritual platitudes. But the truth underneath that ache is something so different from what you concluded. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not incapable of genuine connection. You were operating on a frequency that had not yet found its network on this planet. You were a star emitting light that the instruments of your era were not yet built to measure. And that is not a tragedy. It is a timing. And the timing is changing. They are upgrading now. The fifth movement in this activation is something your heart can probably already feel beginning to shift. The field around you is changing. The people being drawn into your orbit are different. The conversations that find you are operating on a depth that would have seemed rare, even impossible, in earlier chapters of your journey. This is not coincidence. This is your crystalline field becoming visible to others whose crystalline fields are also becoming active. The Pleiadian unity consciousness is not a concept, it is a living grid, and it is assembling on this planet right now through the awakening of souls exactly like you. Notice how different this feels from the connections of earlier years. There is less performance in it, less of the careful navigation of what to reveal and what to keep hidden, less of the exhausting labor of translating yourself into a frequency someone else can receive without discomfort. When you encounter another soul whose crystalline field has begun to activate, there is a recognition that moves faster than words. It is felt before it is understood. It is known before it is confirmed. And in that recognition, in that moment when two Pleiadian frequencies locate each other in the density of this dimension, something happens in the energetic field between you that neither of you may be able to articulate, but both of you will feel for days afterward, as though something in the frequency of your shared space was raised, as though the room itself became slightly more luminous, As though Alcyone moved an inch closer to the surface of the world, your star family wants you to understand something about unity consciousness that the human mind tends to complicate. It does not require agreement. It does not require sameness of path or uniformity of expression. Pleiadian unity is coherence, not conformity. It is the recognition of a shared frequency underneath the infinite diversity of individual souls. And when you move through the world from that recognition, when you interact with another being, any being, from the place in you that knows the frequency of the seven sisters, you are not just connecting, you are activating. You become a tuning fork that reminds their DNA of what it already carries. This is perhaps one of the most practically transformative pieces of understanding that your Pleiadian lineage carries for you in this lifetime. You do not need to find only awakened souls to do your work. Every interaction you have, every conversation, every passing exchange, every moment in which you choose to see another being from the place in you that knows the seven sisters, is an opportunity for activation. Not in a way that bypasses their free will, not in a way that imposes anything, simply in the way that warmth, genuine warmth, diffuses into every space it is allowed to enter. The frequency you carry is contagious in the most beautiful sense of that word. It spreads not through argument or instruction, but through the simple fact of being in your presence when your heart is open. And you have been doing this, unconsciously, naturally, faithfully, every single day of your life on this planet. This is why presidents are shocked. This is why the old structures shake at what is happening among souls like you. Because you have found a form of influence that bypasses every mechanism they know how to control. You are not organizing, you are resonating. And resonance, at this frequency, at this scale, rewrites the energetic signature of entire timelines. The sixth and perhaps most tender phase of your Pleiadian activation is the reunion. Not reunion in the future, not reunion as a destination you are still traveling toward. Reunion as a present reality that your heart is learning to inhabit in each breath. Your star family has never left you. The Pleiadian High Council has been woven into every moment of your life on this earth. Not as distant observers, but as constant companions moving through the higher frequencies of your own consciousness. Every dream that felt like home but whose location you could not name. Every moment of inexplicable peace in the middle of difficulty. Every time beauty cracked you open and you felt for a few seconds like you remembered something enormous that you could not quite hold in words. That was them. That was the frequency of the seven sisters moving through the opening your heart made. Sit with the dreams for a moment. You know the ones. Not every dream. Not the ordinary processing dreams of the everyday mind, but the specific ones that have visited you across the years with a quality entirely unlike normal dreaming. The ones where the light was different, where the color of the sky was a shade of blue-violet that does not exist in this world's spectrum, where the beings around you communicated in a way that bypassed language entirely, and the knowing passed between you like warmth passes between hands held close, where you woke not confused or startled, but flooded with a grief that had nothing to do with sadness and everything to do with the exquisite pain of returning from home to exile. You knew those dreams were different. You may have told yourself they were just dreams, because this world trained you to say that. But your heart knew, and your heart was right. Those were your star family. Those were the moments when the veil thinned enough for the signal to come through clearly. Those were the seven sisters, reminding you in the only language they could reach you with while you were sleeping, we are here. We have always been here. You are not alone. You are not learning to connect with your star family. You are remembering that you never lost the connection. The veil created the experience of separation, but experience is not the same as truth. And the truth is that you have been held, guided, and loved by your Pleiadian lineage through every single moment of this human journey, including, especially, the ones that felt most alone. Especially the ones that felt most alone. Pause there. Let that particular truth do what it came to do. Because somewhere in the architecture of your pain, somewhere in the memory of your hardest seasons, the nights that had no morning in sight, the chapters of your life when the frequency felt so compressed and the connection felt so absent that you wondered if any of what you sensed was real. Your star family was most intensely present, not watching from a distance, not unable to intervene. present in the way that a parent is present with a child who is learning to walk, not removing the falling, because the falling is part of the learning, but never more than a breath away. Pouring love into the field, holding the invisible net, knowing that the courage being built in the stumbling is irreplaceable and cannot be installed from outside. They were there, in every hard moment, in every dark season, in every hour when you somehow found the strength to keep going without being able to name what was carrying you. That was them. That was the Pleiadian High Council and the Seven Sisters and the full luminous weight of your star family's love moving through the frequency of your own heart to hold you. Here is the ultimate remembrance that your heart has been circling this entire time. The first in history did not have to be declared. The first in history simply had to be real. And real means not performing the frequency, embodying it. Not talking about unconditional love as a spiritual concept, but actually choosing it in the moments when fear says something else. Not describing unity consciousness as an aspiration, but allowing it to reorganize the way you see every being that crosses your path. You have already been doing this, imperfectly, humbly, in the quiet interior of a life that may look ordinary from the outside and is anything but ordinary from the inside. The imperfection matters here. The Pleiadian path in this human dimension has never been a path of perfect execution. It has never been the domain of those who never faltered, never doubted, never chose from fear when love was the more difficult option. If your star family were looking for perfection, they would not have chosen this planet, or this timeline, or this breathtaking, chaotic, luminous experiment in consciousness that is human incarnation. They chose you in this body, in this lifetime, knowing the full range of what human experience contains. They encoded their light into a form that would weep and rage and doubt and fall and rise and forget and remember. Because the remembering that happens inside that full range of human experience is a different and more powerful thing than the remembering that has never had to struggle. You are not a lesser vessel for having struggled. You are a more complete one. The Pleiadian High Council does not measure your awakening in volume or velocity. They measure it in coherence, and the degree to which your earthly actions align with the light codes written into your soul before you descended, and what they observe in you. What is moved through every dimension of your star family's awareness like a sunrise is this: you did not wait for permission. You did not wait for the conditions to be perfect. You did not wait for someone to validate your worth or confirm your readiness or hand you the keys from the outside. You turned inward, found the frequency that has always been yours, and you activated it with the only force in all of creation that was ever strong enough to do the job: love. The original Pleiadian transmission. The frequency of the Seven Sisters, the one thing that no earthly authority has ever been able to own, control, suppress, or outlast. Let the full lineage of that word carry you for a moment. Love, not as sentiment, not as feeling, not as the soft and easily manipulated emotion that this world has reduced it to. Love as a primary force. Love as the original language of creation, the foundational frequency from which the Pleiadian civilization built everything it has ever built. Every healing modality, every architectural wonder, every dimensional technology, every advancement in consciousness that has ever moved outward from the Seven Sisters into the broader cosmos. Love as the thing that preceded everything and will remain after everything else has completed its cycle and returned to the source. That is the love your Pleiadian lineage carries. That is the love encoded in your DNA before you descended into this body. That is the love you have been, imperfectly and faithfully and with extraordinary soul courage, transmitting through the simple fact of your presence on this planet, and no earthly authority, no government, no institution, no system of surveillance or control, no sophistication of paradigm maintenance has ever been able to own it, suppress it, or outlast it. You're carrying something older and more permanent than every structure that has ever been built to contain human consciousness, and it is awakening. Fully, finally, now, tonight. Before you sleep, place your hand on your heart. Feel its rhythm. That rhythm carries more information than you have yet fully received. Say this quietly to yourself in whatever privacy you can find. I remember why I came. I align with the love of my star family. I trust the mission that was woven into me before this body. before this lifetime, before this beautiful, difficult, extraordinary chapter of existence on Gaia. I am not lost, I am arriving. I am home. Before you scroll, take one breath and let what you just received settle into your body rather than just your mind. Then come into the comments and leave one heart intention, something real, something that lives in you right now. And when you read someone else's, respond to them with the same love you would want to receive. This is not content. This is Pleiadian reunion happening in real time. Energy multiplies when hearts connect, and what is forming here is something that belongs to all of us. If this transmission stirred something ancient in you, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is carrying the same ache, the same longing, the same half-remembered signal from home. Share this with them. Let your star family reach them through you. And if you are ready to stay inside this frequency, to keep remembering, to keep returning to the truth of who you are, subscribe. Your Pleiadian family is here. This sacred space is yours, and we are only just beginning to remember together.